Religion and Realization by Diamond Picked Up in the Street, Episode 17. Diamond's yogic interpretation of Sri Ramkrishna's metaphors from the Gospel of Sri Ramkrishna based on his own lifelong divine realizations. March 1882, place Temple of the Sineshwar. Henceforth, Sri Ramakrishna will be spoken of as Thakur when required, as it is so done in the Gospel. 15. He had a moleskin wrapper put on him. Sri Ramakrishna. This is the first touch of description of Thakur in his ordinary life as given by Sri M. Thakur was a well-reputed monk, a saint, sannyasi, the body and God separated. But he had neither matted hair, nor clean uniform of ochre collar, nor wooden sandal, nor a big staff, or a wooden water pot, nor any outward sign of a monk by which he might be recognized. He dressed and looked like an ordinary plain country gentleman. What sort of Paramahansa was this? Thakur was the God incarnation of the era, avatar. Every era has its own requirements. The life of avatar, incarnation of God, was the fulfillment of those requirements. Thakur led an ideal life of the era, keeping balance with the environment, and as such to teach others that his life would be followed. It was the era of Buddha. Sri Buddha was seated. He had a dress put on him like that of a Buddhist monk. His whole body was covered with cloth of yellow color. His disciples, the monks, had the same dress on. The world saw Buddha and his monk disciples. With an extreme reverence, they paid their respect and homage to them, but they kept aloof by standing at a distance, and they eyed askance. The world did not dare approach them, nor sat by them. Well, the Buddha and monks were gods, a different set of people, and they were not meant for, nor did they belong to, the ordinary human race. Sri Buddha was for his monk disciples, and not for the world. My own dear one would be living my life. He had no necessity for such fine dress of ochre color. Yes, it was Sri Shankaracharya, AD 788 to 820, with well-shaped head and face, dressed in ochre-colored uniform from top to toe. Like a fountain, his genius was showering sparkling water all around, and his erudition and scholarship like another sun were shining and illuminating the horizon. With all his glorious disciples, Sri Shankar was found seated. There were Padmapada, Mandan Mishra, Trotak, and others. It was a mad thought to judge the superiority or inferiority in them. It was an amazing sight to the world, Sri Shankar with his disciples. The human race, with all their reverence, bowed down to them and went by with a sigh of grief, thinking that this life of Sri Shankar and his disciples was never meant for them, as it was impossible for them to get the talents, achievements, and self-assertions of Shankar and his disciples. The human race left them and went after pondering within that God was simply for Shankar and his disciples, and not for ordinary man. Sri Ramanuja appeared in the arena after some 200 years and a new edition of Shankar. Besides, there was a severe strict rigidity in him. With equal reverence showed to Shankar, the human race bowed down to Ramanuja and went by. They could not find any link between their life and the life of Ramanuja. They approached him with great expectation, but they found that it was not for them. Place Puri in Orissa. Look there. There was Sri Chaitanya sealed. He was talking about Radha's, a female devotee, his love for Sri Krishna to his own devotees. He looked like both Jupiter and Cupid combined together, but simply he had a torn rag on his loins. To attain God by self exertion through privations and cynicism was introduced by Buddha and Shankar, but it was not so prominent with them as it was practiced and followed with rigid principle of Sri Chaitanya in his own life. The world was the magnetic and dazzling figure of Sri Chaitanya, but from a distance, man gave up a sigh, lost his heart, and went by. Only in past in his mind, alack, he is not mine. Thakur had a wrapper on his body and slippers on his feet. Yes, he attained God in accordance with the outlined principles of the Vedanta. Sri M brought back hope in the mind of the humanity by this description of Thakur, who was not unlike a plain and simple man, his daily dress like others. In winter I put on a wrapper on my body and slippers on my feet. Thakur led a life, a very similar life like that of mine. But Thakur attained God. How am I to do so? Yes, there is expectation and hope for everyone else. We must be remembering the announcement made by Thakur. Uncle Moon is everyone's uncle. God is for everybody. Moon in India is a man and not a woman like Diana or Roman mythology. Thakur attained God, and through his grace I shall be attaining God also. 16. With whom shall I talk to? When I go to Calcutta, if Keshav dies, God expresses himself in and through a devotee. He creates a true devotee by giving him his grace. Thakur took a liking on Keshav. Keshav Chandra Sen was founder and leader of a Brahmo sect. He gave him his grace, and Keshav saw God in the form of Kali. So he acknowledged the existence of Kali. Sri Keshav was a real devotee, so Thakur had a deep affection for him. 17. Well, do you know one Mr. Cook is come? Is he lecturing out there here? Thakur was perfectly sure that lectures could not render any help to make a see God. Lectures are but temporary measures. The people will no doubt listen to you with all attention, but they are sure to forget it in no time. It does not leave a permanent stamp on the audience. No action will be produced in the body of the audience if the lecture has got no commandment from the God. If God frees himself from the body, then there is liberation, and it means religion. 18. The brother of Pratap did come here. He stopped with me for some days. He was out of employment. He told me that he wanted to live with me. I came to learn that he left his family at his father-in-law's place. His family is a big one and a whole brood of them. He was taken to task for this, just a fancy. He is the head of such a big family. Will his neighbor feed his children, take care of them, and bring them up? Is he not ashamed that his wife and children are maintained by somebody else, and they have been left in an uncared condition in his father-in-law's place? He had a severe scolding from me, and I asked him to pick up a job. Then he was induced to leave this place. It is said by Sri Ramkrishna. Here is a sketch chalked out by Thakur for an ordinary man to lead his life. He must be earning his own livelihood. If he is a family man, he must be maintaining his family, and at the same time he must be praying to be a real devotee and love God. A gentle breeze shakes the leaf of a tree. God wills it, and the leaf is shaken. Pratap's brother is encumbered with a family. It is so ordained, and it has turned out to be so. But he comes to Thakur, that is, he has got an inclination of love to God. Yes, it is so. Let him earn his livelihood, maintain his family, and let him love God at the same time. This is Thakur's injunction on Pratap's brother. Let us scan here a bit of Thakur's own life. What did he himself do at the outset? He came in the temple of Dakshineshwar and took up the work of worshipping the Divine Mother Kali, and he had a fixed pay for it. Then a thorough change came over him, both within and without. The proprietor of the Dakshineshwar temple granted him a pension. Thakur himself used to say, I live on pension.